I'm going to transport you into a story. This is a Superior Tale.
Thorns of Callousness. Hey kid! A deep and crusty voice shouts in your ear. A stinging sensation envelops you as that same voice echoes inside your head. You feel a hard bump on your right arm. Your arm aches. Everything's dark. Have you been sleeping? Did you faint? Or has something worse happened to you? A grey light gradually manifests in front of you. It's blurry, but at least it's better than pitch blackness. As you blink, you slowly start to see two silhouettes before you. One tall and feminine, while the other is male and very short. Probably below a meter. The male silhouette stands closest to you and is most likely the reason why your ears are ringing right now. After blinking a few more times, you finally see the baby blue chainmail armor and the long blonde hair of your friend, the paladin, Gina Odrus. She's clasping her hands together as she gives you a look reminding you of a mother concerned for her child. Just after that, a male face, no higher nor larger than a small child's, abruptly leans into your line of sight, completely blocking your view of Gina. The man snaps his fingers as yellow fire bursts out of his fingers. He moves the fire back and forth in front of your eyes. He snaps his fingers again, and the fire is gone. Considering his height and his ability to conjure fire out of thin air, this man must be a halfling wizard. He wears a green and brown outfit and a pair of green glasses that almost completely covers his face. They look just like two upside down ale pints. The man's brown hair sticks out in all directions and, well, evidently his hair isn't friends with either comb or brush. The curious man grins and stutteringly chuckles a bit. I'm sorry about your ear, kid. He scratches the back of his neck, glancing over to Gina. Yeah, you don't need to remind me for it. Gina's done that a couple of times already. Gina lets out a deep sigh, releases the grip of her hands, and then walks up right next to you and the curious man. Well, standing about 2 centimeters from someone's ear and then shouting from Crown and Country may be considered overkill, but what's important is that our friend is okay, right, Frogrin? She playfully blinks and gives the two of you a wide smile, her white teeth glistening in the sunlight. True macaronis as always, Gina. Frogring heartedly chuckles as he taps Gina on her left knee, which is about the maximum height he can reach. Friend, she locks her gaze with yours. And Frogrin, bending her head a bit in order to look Frogrin in the eyes. She then faces what has been looming behind Gina and Frogrin all this time. It's a vast forest consisting of purple thorns stretching as far as the eyes can see. Somewhere inside there lies the purple diamond that is rumored to contain extensive healing properties. With it, we can finally purify the drinking water of my home village. Frogrin finishes. Gina nods. Exactly. I can't imagine what you're going through right now, Frogrin. I really feel for you. Gina bends down and gently rests one of her hands on Frogrin's shoulder. Yeah, hopefully we'll be in time to save Grandma who... Frogrin abruptly stops. His voice starts to tremble. He shakes a few seconds, then straightens his back, collected once again. My grandma, she drank from the water while it was poisoned. She doesn't have much time. A cold wind blows by, gently caressing the three of you. Gina closes her eyes for a moment and then faces the forest again. We need to be quick once inside the forest. Why is that? Frogrin asks. Because anyone who enters this forest of purple thorns will be consumed by it and turned into purple thorns themselves, effectively becoming a part of the forest itself within an hour. That really sucks cucumbers, Frogrin mutters while clenching his teeth. Do we have a map? No, Gina simply states while determinedly gazing towards the purple thorns, her blonde hair swaying in the wind. I've searched everywhere and asked everyone I could think of. This place is so ancient and so dangerous that no one has ever been able to make a readable map of the area, and the thorns move on their own daily, so even if someone actually managed to, it'd still be pointless the next day. So, in and out within an hour then? Gotcha. The purple thorns are everywhere. They completely cover the sky. They are placed in all directions and wherever you look, effectively blocking out all sunlight. It feels just like night here, even though it's still a bright and sunny day outside. Gina walks in the front, then you, and lastly, right behind you, Frogrin. He shudders slightly, and it's not because of coldness, but of fear. Man, this place really gives me major creeps, he says as he shakingly adjusts his green ale pint glasses with one hand and scratches his ruffled hair with the other. You catch Frogrin's green wristwatch, which lets you know that you have 30 minutes left to find the purple diamond. Just stay close, Gina whispers. We don't want to attract the attention of the thorns. What now? Frogrin exclaims. Shh. Gina pauses for a second, standing completely still and gesturing to the two of you to do the same. Frogrin completely freezes, looking just like a scared cat, raising rag and all. A chill runs down your spine while the two of you wait. Gina listens. At first, it's quiet. Then you're starting to hear faint whispers. This world is not enough. You are not enough. I don't get enough. I am not enough. This world doesn't give me enough. The whispers grow fainter and fainter until all is at rest again. Gina waits for a few seconds before she finally sighs. Okay, we're fine for now. Yes, Frogrin, these thorns are alive, and well, they kind of want us to become a part of this forest and join with them in their ungratefulness and callousness. Frogrin's eyes grow wide behind his screened and overly sized ale pint glasses, and he does his best to whisper as much as he can. Gina, why didn't you tell us this before? Well, I didn't want to give you guys another reason to turn back. I deemed what I said earlier to be enough, and, well, we'll be fine as long as we stay quiet. Frogrin places his hand on his forehead, looking down on the ground. Okay, just slip in and out of a forest full of touchy thorns that love to drag us all to hell in order to search for a freaking diamond we don't have a map to within an hour. Just peachy. Everything's just peachy. Just as Frogrin utters that last whispering word, Gina looks back to him in order to whisper something back to him, but when she does, she unconsciously steps on one of the thorns, which gives out a loud crunch. The three of you completely freeze as all of the thorns surrounding you start to hiss and slither about, moving just like a recently disturbed pack of snakes. Your heart starts beating out of your chest, and you feel cold sweat starting to form all over your body as the thorns start to move closer and closer. Well, not closer towards you and Frogrin, but towards Gina. Gina's eyes widen, her pupils constricting to peppercorns as all of the thorns in the whole forest move in towards her. Gina stands frozen, just like a statue, hoping that will be enough for the thorns to leave her alone. All of the thorns move in as close as a few centimeters from Gina's body, and she visibly starts shaking, her baby blue chainmail armor clanging with each shake. Then, all of the thorns back away in unison, just as the fencer bracing itself to prepare for the killing blow to its opponent. Frogrin looks just as if he's been hit by a cannonball in the stomach, having completely lost all his air. Gina throws a loving gaze to both you and Frogrin and slightly smiles one last time before she completely closes her eyes, forcefully pressing them together, clenching her teeth. This clenching then transitions into clenching her whole body. A single tear runs down Gina's cheek, and time stop! Frogrin screams at the top of his lungs, his tears spraying all over the place. I won't let it end like this! The scene in front of you shows Gina awaiting her final moments and the purple thorns moving in for the killing blow. But instead of continuing, everything is still, just as if the scene has turned into a motionless photo. Frogrin stands with his back slightly bent forward. He huffs and wheezes as sweat drips from his halfling forehead. Frogrin's breath slowly goes back to its normal pace, and he stands upright again. I can't take this. Let's get out of here. Frogrin looks at you, and as if catching your concern, he quickly replies, We'll come back, no worries. I just need to gather my thoughts. The time stop spell will last for a while yet. As he finishes that sentence, he throws a small metallic item out of his pocket, and this item gradually grows and transforms into a metallic flying machine, reminiscent of a flying saucer, right up until its metallic upper parts folds down, revealing a bed behind the glass cover. Don't look at me like that. I need this for my beauty sleep and relaxation, nothing else, alright? Come on, let's go. Frogrin claps his hands together as the two of you start to leviate from the ground, up right next to the flying saucer. Frogrin grabs what looks like a remote from his other pocket and presses one of its buttons. Something buzzes inside the flying saucer as the glass cover opens up to the right, just like the lid of a garbage can would open. Frogrin claps his hands twice, and the two of you gently land on top of Frogrin's saucer bed. The bed is so soft, unlike anything you ever sat on before. It feels just like floating in calm water. Frogrin presses his remote again, and the glass cover closes, protecting the two of you from any dangers outside. Fly, Frogrin then utters, and the flying saucer does just that. It flies right through the purple thorns covering the sky without breaking them, just as if they were transparent. Outside of the forest of purple thorns, you are first greeted by the sky and the gentle sun, but the flying saucer doesn't stop there. It flies higher, higher, and higher. The sky gradually darkens, and finally, the blinking lights of the stars greet you. And when you look below, you can see the world. Yeah, this is where I go to relax, and where I go to calm myself when things get too rough, like it did today. Frogrin sits beside you, his legs outstretched in front of him. He gazes up towards the stars and sighs. You know, I really love Gina. She's my best friend. I just can't lose her. I'll never allow that. Never, ever, ever. The stars seem to blink even more as Frogrin continues. You take this short moment of respite to relax yourself as well. She's the only one I can go to with bad news. Well, I guess I could go to others with bad news as well, but you wanna know the big difference between them and her? She actually listens. She doesn't like slam me in the face and tell me how stupid I was for letting something happen, or laugh at me or blame me, or worse, just ignores what I say and then instead tells me of something bad that happened to them years ago. Gina just listens. A shooting star quickly flies by. It is gone as soon as it appeared, but still beautiful nevertheless. And when I succeed at something, or when I create something I am proud of, she doesn't remain silent, ignore it, scoff at me, act uninterested, or tell me, "Who do you think you are?" like others might do. She actually helps me celebrate. She helps me celebrate my victories, no matter how big or small. She celebrated with me after the defeat of Nuera the Dark Knight, the ruler of the otherworld and self-proclaimed god. As much as she celebrated when I managed to create my first potion. To be honest, that potion wasn't even that good, but she celebrated with me regardless. It didn't matter that it wasn't perfect. It was enough that I managed to do it. That's a true friend. Someone who listens to your bad news and someone who helps celebrate your achievements. Never let go of someone like that, okay? Frogrin wipes something off his face with one of his hands and sniffles. Oh man. Allowing yourself to cry now and then is really healthy. For a man too, you know. Especially considering the stigma that many men carry. You can't cry. You need to be strong and brave. And bullshit like that. I say, if you need to cry, and you allow yourself to do that, despite what everyone else thinks, that's a prime example of being brave, if you ask me. Among the stars, there appears to be another flying saucer floating about. But now, it's gone. Oh, and while we're still here, and as a thank you for listening to my story, I'd like to teach you something. This is something that will help you in real life, as long as you choose to allow it. Twin shooting stars suddenly run by the two of you and Frogrin's flying saucer. You know, when stuff has happened to me that I've really liked, stuff that I'd like to happen again, I've started saying a phrase, and this phrase has made that wish come true. This phrase is really simple. Each time something happens to you that you liked more of, then just say out loud or in your mind, "Thank you, universe. Please give me more of that." And that's it. The probability that it'll come true will be very high. I can promise you that. I'm a living example, because it's happened to me. Being grateful is a superpower many people don't use, but you now know of one powerful way to use it. Frogin coughs, recomposes himself, and then stands up. Wanna know what I'd like to do now? The stars of the universe appear to be burning even brighter now. Because you listen to me, just like Gina usually does. You granted me the power to finish this. That wouldn't have been possible without you. So thanks to you, I'm gonna burn some ungrateful thorns. As he finishes that sentence, he presses a button on his remote once again, and the flying saucer immediately starts falling down towards the world and back into the forest of purple thorns once again. The glass cover opens, Frogrin snaps his fingers, and the two of you are suddenly back on the ground again, with the flying saucer nowhere to be seen. Gina and the purple thorns still remain just the way you left them. We have about 10 seconds before the time stop spell fades, so it's all or nothing now. Just between you and me though, I actually have an ace up my sleeve. All thanks to you. Frogin winks at you through his green ale pint glasses as he throws both his arms into the air and starts muttering something in a different language. Stand back, kid! As soon as you step back, both you and Gina are completely covered by an egg-formed rainbow shield. as Frogrin is quickly enveloped by fire so red it almost hurts your eyes. The fire circles around Frogrin faster and faster, just like a fire dragon. "This one's for you, Gina!" The crimson-red dragon fire gives off such a bright light that you need to cover your eyes, as Frogrin determinedly screams with all his might, "Flare!" An explosion so loud commences that all you can hear is the ringing in your ears. But thanks to Frogrin's rainbow shield, nothing happens to you. You're completely safe. As the ringing stops, so does the red-crimson light, which allows you to finally see what's going on. The rainbow shield is gone, as is the whole forest of thorns. Every last bit of purple thorn completely disintegrated by Frogrin's most powerful spell. A spell so powerful it may even rival that of Gandalf's or Merlin's powers. And there, among all of the ashes, floats the purple diamond, with not even a scratch on its surface. The sun shines brightly and gently upon you as the light blue sky greets you. A shockwave hits you, making you lose your balance slightly. The time stop spell has ended, and Gina falls down on her knees, crying. Frogrin runs up to her like a child about to buy his first ice cream, while he gestures to you to follow right along. The both of you stand in front of Gina as she looks around her surroundings, wide-eyed and with her jaw dropped. Well, what happened? I thought I died. Am I dead? Frogrin runs up to her, embracing her. No, we saved you, silly. While on her knees, Frogrin actually reaches up quite a bit, almost in a way any other human would be able to hug her. Here, you choose whether you join in embracing Gina or not. Whatever you choose, she embraces back so intently, pressing her eyes shut. She sobs as more tears runs down her cheeks. As her crying ebbs out, she first catches the view of the floating purple diamond. She deeply sighs with relief, looks at Frogrin and says, "Your grandma and your village is going to be okay now." Frogrin nods so hard, his ale pint glasses almost falls off his face. But thankfully, he managed to catch them before they do. Frogrin grins off an ear-to-ear smile, his ruffled hair looking even more ruffled than before. If that's even possible. Gina then finally looks at you, and not in a regular way. She looks right into your soul, because she knows what you've done today. Finally being freed from the clutches of the thorns of callousness, she gives you one of the warmest smiles you've ever received in your life, as soft sunlight lights up her smile even further. Thank you so much. I am so very grateful for you. The prismatic chamber. A door. Yes, there's a door just before you. It's terracotta brown, feels raspy to the touch, and gives off a scent reminding you of acorns swaying in a soft autumn breeze. As you touch its golden doorknob, your whole body is enveloped with a feeling similar to sitting in a massage chair. As the wooden door slowly and creakily opens, a prismatic light, consisting of a multitude of colors, gradually covers your body. This feels just like slipping into a warm bath. What mysteries could possibly be waiting for you beyond this curious door? And what is that light? As you step into the room concealed beyond the acorn door, a small rainbow-colored marble chamber opens up before you. Although the chamber is beautiful, there's not much here to look at. On the wall in front of you, geometrically placed exactly in the middle, there's a painting of a vast ocean. And above the ocean's horizon, there's 3 golden clouds. 1 larger cloud in the middle and 2 smaller clouds on each side. Other than that, there's only the acorn door behind you. Curious, because it seems like this mysterious prismatic light isn't coming from the rainbow-colored walls, but from this painting. Then suddenly there's a distant voice whispering, "That is your mind. Yes, your mind. It's filled with golden clouds of abundance, a positive attitude, and a vast ocean of endless possibilities." Just as the whispering voices whisper falls silent, a loud crack can be heard from the painting. Right in the middle of the larger cloud, there's now a small, but also very deep, spiderweb-shaped black crack. "Oh no!" exclaims the whispering voice as the spiderweb-shaped crack grows larger and larger, crackling horribly as it does. Then suddenly, the parts of the painting that has been cracked implodes into itself with a glass-shattering crash. Its broken shards should have fallen down onto the floor according to the laws of gravity, but they don't. Instead, they fall straight forward into the darkness. Just as if you were gazing down into a black abyss, watching the painting's broken shards slowly fall out of view, right down to the very bottom. As you continue to gaze into the large crack that has now almost divided the whole painting into 2, there's suddenly 2 luminescent and white eyes locking their gaze with yours. A high-pitched voice, sounding like a mosquito that's stubbornly buzzing around your ear, echoes across the prismatic chamber. "Oops, you broke it, didn't you? But what does it matter? There's no need for abundance of positive thinking anyway, right? Everything is pointless. Why should you even try? You always end up failing anyway." The white eyes of this white-eyed entity, have no irises, so looking into its eyes feels just like staring into 2 brightly lit lamps. As the white-eyed entity continues to gaze at you, you start to feel more and more unmotivated, less and less positive. And as you do, the rainbow hues of the prismatic chamber's walls slowly but gradually shifts to grey, even until the painting itself has turned completely grey. "Exactly. There's no point. You know that. Let's just give up, just like we usually do. There's a lot less effort in that anyway." Somehow, there's something familiar about this entity. Then, the whispering voice from before returns, now overshadowing the high-pitched mosquito noise of the white-eyed entity entirely. The whispering voice softly whispers, "There's always a way to shift. You always have the choice. Just repeat after me. I allow myself to feel these emotions." The white-eyed entity's eyes squint and buzzes even more intently, feeling just like 1,000 mosquitoes has entered both of your ears. But somehow, its horrible noise gradually dissipates, just as if you were lowering the holingly loud volume of a TV with its remote. The white-eyed entity continues its buzzing feverishly, but still, no sound can be heard. The grey walls of the prismatic chamber rumble slightly as the whispering voice continues. Now, when we have some peace and quiet, I let you take a moment to feel these negative emotions. And if the negative emotions my friend here mentioned doesn't resonate with you, you can choose other negative emotions. Some that you have trouble with. Just feel them, without judging them, or yourself. Take a pause right here and do that. You're done? Okay. Next, choose another, more positive thought. One that you want to replace the negativity with. Go ahead. It can be anything you want. I'll wait. Next, focus on this positive thought. Do you feel that? That positive emotion that accompanies that positive thought? Focus on this emotion. I let you have a moment to do that. Continue only once you feel you're ready. The moment you're done focusing on that emotion, the white-eyed entity's eyes slowly stop squinting, seeming to finally relax. It looks at you with now completely open eyes. It blinks a few times and then gives out a deep sigh. Its eyes slowly close until they are closed completely, as its white light gradually disappears into the darkness of the painting's enormous crack. As the white-eyed entity accepts defeat, the crack that was previously formed in the painting of golden clouds and vast ocean cracks as it starts to slowly but surely mend itself, cracking softly as more and more of the cracks gets mended, finally until the whole painting is back to normal. The colors of the painting, the golden clouds, the deep blue ocean and the light blue sky start to return, as does the painting's prismatic glow. As it does, the grayness of the prismatic chamber's walls start to slowly shift back into its rainbow-colored hue as well. The prismatic chamber has now returned completely back to normal, thanks to you. While you're standing there watching the now completely restored chamber, the chamber starts to move forward by itself, just as if moving backwards into a tunnel. You are now suddenly outside of the prismatic chamber. You look at the chamber's wide open acorn door as it creaks and slowly closes itself. But before the acorn door closes completely, in the painting, on the two golden clouds, on each side of the large cloud, you see two silhouettes sitting, waving at you. The silhouette sitting on the left cloud has irisless eyes shining with your favorite color, while the silhouette sitting on the right cloud has white, irisless eyes. And want to know the best part of it all? They both look happy. Castle Nyctophobia. You're finally here. It took a while, this perilous journey. Across a humid Sweetwater lake with water as dark as coal, through winds feeling like razor blades across your skin, You and the Warrior of Light, the Paladin Gina Odris, have been paddling. Gina's baby blue chainmail armor clanged with each paddle row. Her long blonde hair danced in the wind, and her lapis blue eyes sent encouraging gazes to yours. The two of you have taken turns to avoid tire each other out. Took both strength and perseverance, but now it's done. It's finished. Gina clenches her teeth and rubs her chin as the two of you gaze upon the eerie visage that is Castle Nyctophobia. On a small lone island in the middle of this black lake of eerily deep waters, it stands, similar to a lighthouse, but much broader. About 50 meters broad it stands, and probably almost as tall. It's raven black, so black in fact that one could think it was made completely of obsidian. And maybe it is. There's some kind of black energy circling around it too, looking just like thin ghosts dressed in long and tattered coats. The air feels very heavy here, as if someone was sitting on your shoulders and slightly pressing your lungs together at the same time. The energy of this place feels much worse than I thought it would. But no worries, we're gonna handle this, you and I, Gina says, as she encouragingly bumps her fist on your left arm. Remember what we talked about, right? About the dangers of the darkness within? Gina glances at you, meeting your gaze. She blinks and nods. I'll summarize it for you again, just in case. Can't be too careful in a place like this. Gina faces the ghost-like figures circling around the castle. Those things? They're inside the castle too, feeding on the stress of others, making that same stress worse even. And Gina looks down on her shoes for a few seconds. And they can really hurt our energy bodies if we're not careful. A chilling howl can be heard, unclear if it was coming from the chilly wind or from those circling entities. But we have this. Gina stretches out one of her hands in front of you, and within you see a circular and gold-colored compass-looking item. It isn't exactly a compass though. There's a white surface with a golden needle behind a circular glass cover, just like in a compass, but there's also two red dots blinking on the pale surface below the needle. And the golden needle is shining in its constant yellow glow. This is the Scout, and those two dots within, that's us. Living beings with a soul. Gina lifts the Scout towards the ghoulish apparitions circling the castle. The red dots gradually disappear out of sight as she does, and instead there are now multiple black dots showing up on its white surface instead, circling around, just like the circling entities do around the castle. And the golden needle goes wild, facing random directions all over the place and blinking rapidly. Black dots, on the other hand, are soulless beings. The two of you now stand at the very base of Castle Nyctophobia. After that horrible journey across the Lake of Darkness, there's a very acute need for rest. Thus you lean on the castle's wall so you can catch your breath. You really shouldn't have done that, because as you do, you immediately fall backwards right through the castle's wall, as if splashing through a running waterfall. Gina's gaze catches yours for a second, just as you do. and in slow motion, her eyes widen more and more, as does her mouth. Her facial muscles straining themselves more and more. Gina appears just about to scream something to you, and then she's gone. Darkness itself has completely enveloped you now. Your back aches, your ears ring, and your heart beats out of your chest. You can't make yourself move at all. But you can open your eyes. But when you do, there's still only darkness. Your racing heartbeat and the aches from your back makes your body pulsate with needle-like pain. But gradually, and thankfully, the pain slowly dissipates. You should be able to get on your feet now. Suddenly, there's a voice calling you, but it's not coming from inside the castle. It's coming from within your mind. Are you okay? Talk to me. It's a feminine voice. It's Gina's voice. There you are. I've been trying to reach you telepathically for 30 minutes now, and I was starting to really worry. Her voice trembles and then grows steady again. I'm glad you're okay. As you get yourself back on your feet, trying not to stumble in the dark, Gina telepathically explains to you that she's been trying to enter the castle the same way you did, but to no avail. She hasn't been able to find any kind of normal entrance either. It's as if the castle's decided to close itself off from everyone, but you. You have some casual telepathic conversations with Gina as you walk the halls of Castle Nyctophobia. Doing this keeps you both from going insane with stress. You're forced to follow the walls closely with one of your hands while holding the scout with the other. The dim yellow shine from the scout's gold needle is your only light in this castle of the night. On the scout's white surface, below the shining gold needle, there's a single red dot blinking. After having talked with Gina about everything between the possibilities and dreams of life to the simple taste of vanilla ice cream, one thing suddenly makes your heart stop. The dim yellow light from the scout's golden needle is now shifting back and forth uncontrollably. And on the scout's white surface, alongside your red blinking dot, there's now a myriad of black dots. Hundreds, and worst of all, they're all moving towards you. Oh no, exclaims Gina. But don't worry. Remember, all you have to do is not panic. But just as a starting shot, those very words make your whole body shake and your heart gradually race more and more. Sweat pearls are forming all over your body as you watch the black dots move closer and closer. Is this the end of the road for you? Gina stutters and rambles for a few seconds until she decisively says, "Calm down. I know an ancient technique that will relieve oneself of stress. Just listen to my voice and do exactly as I tell you to." Your eyes are fixed on the uncountable black dots moving in herds towards you, just like a pack of ravenous rats that hasn't been eaten in 100 years. Your whole chest feels like it's going to burst with stress. Relax. We're gonna make it. And we'll do this together, okay? Just repeat after me. Distant howls are starting to echo across the castle's halls as you intently listen to Gina's words and do exactly as she tells you to. First, take a deep breath. And then another deep breath. And then a third, final deep breath. The eerie howls are growing closer. Just focus on my voice. Next say, I now ask my higher self to ground me. A dim terracotta brown light starts to form below your feet. Next say, I now send back all energies that aren't mine. You visually see thin streams of different colored dim lights leaving your body and disappearing out of sight. As the energy that wasn't even yours to begin with is gone, the scout lets you know that the black dots are closing in on you. The previous distant howls now sounding very close. And finally say, I now ask my higher self to refill my energies. Just as before, you see streams of different colored energy lights appear, but this time the energy streams are coming from the roof and walls, shining bright as the sun, and they all move into you. As the final streams of sunbright energies rest within you, a large portion of the wall, 4 meters wide and 4 meters high, suddenly cracks and crumbles down completely, sounding just like a brick wall that's been hit by a sledgehammer. Warm sunlight streams in and completely covers the inside of the castle that is now exposed by this hole in its walls. You are greeted by the sky, the black lake, and a smiling Gina. Lightning fast, she jumps over just next to you, grabs you by the shoulders, and quickly yanks you out of the castle's walls. Just a second before hundreds of bone-like fingers were about to grab you in order to pull you deeper into the black holes of Castle Nyctophobia. As both you and Gina roughly smash down into the green grass outside, in the blink of an eye, the castle's walls are fully restored. Just as if the 4 meter wide and 4 meter high hole never even existed to begin with. Laying there in the emerald green grass, the sun's rays gently caressing your skin, you now feel completely stress-free. Gina's ancient technique worked. She now lies just next to you, her baby blue chainmail clangs, and her blonde hair gently slides to the side as she turns her head and her lapis blue eyes towards you, her gaze locking with yours. She lets out a deep sigh, chuckles a bit, and gently smiles at you. You know what? Let's just forget about this castle, okay?
Click or tap the screen here to watch another dark fantasy story from Beerier Tales. Check out free stories and get early access with the links in the description or the pinned comment below. And a special thank you to all of my Patreon members who made this story possible.